Hello Taurus, welcome to the Modern Spiritualist. My name is Raheem. We're going to do the March general reading for you today. You can use this for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node since my emphasis is on soul development. North Node is another good placement to look for as well with these readings. Did a Celtic Cross spread plus a Catalyst Oracle. We're going to start there. The Catalyst energy is going to be the thread that you can use to pull yourself back into the highest vibration possible and get the most out of the lessons and cycles coming to you this month. So starting there, this is the Threads of Fate Oracle deck. I pulled the Ascension card. It came out in reverse. Okay. Okay, so what I'm actually getting is integration. This month is for integration. So whatever work that you've done previously in the last few months, it's time to bring it into your body, bring it into the earth, and start manifesting based off of that. Because your body is being reprogrammed via all of the discoveries you've made spiritually, mentally, etc. In the past few months. Just be mindful of that. Try not to ignore your body. If you end up in a situation where there's like a lot of knots in your body or you don't feel good, I'm getting kind of a particular emphasis on like the neck and like the upper back. Make sure that you do what you need to do to adjust. So whether you get a massage, go to a chiropractor, get some kind of body work done, or just take a few days of rest to rejuvenate, or whatever movement work that you use to kind of work those out. If you do yoga or you dance or anything, all of those are going to be really key. Anything that you can do to get yourself into your body and resource your body this month is key. I think I talked about that last month for you guys a little bit as well. Is just like make sure that you are I think last month it was more about self-care. It was like if you're having a hard time emotionally or mentally, make sure that you're eating enough, getting enough sleep. All of that still stands. I think you are in a different place now because this is more about settling and solidifying based on the emotional and mental and spiritual work you've already done. And so it's just making sure that your body really integrates that fully and gets online so that whatever you do from here is a different pattern. And so I really do feel like a lot of you guys are kind of past the halfway mark or like on the other side already. Because it does feel like clearer waters here, or at least more clarity for you. Whereas, I feel like previous months things have been unclear, or like there's been a lot of stress or a lot of narratives being spun. And I do still see that in the spread, to be honest, but the energy that I'm feeling is actually much more concrete and solid. So I think you guys are kind of coming into a more solid way of being. But the thing about coming into that solid way of being is ascension symptoms in your body can be a little bit disruptive. So if you have a hard time sleeping, remember it's because you're integrating. If you have a hard time, if there's like dietary changes or digestive changes, it's because you're integrating. Okay, so like any body-based stuff that feels weird, it's because you're coming into that higher frequency, which can really hit our nervous system in strange ways. So just hold space for that and stay in your body and do what you can do, resource and tools wise, to move it. Okay, and that may mean slowing down a little bit and resting. Not to mean that you have to come full stop, but I do see a slowdown this month. So if you just lean into that rather than stressing about it, you're going to have a better time. Okay. Moving into the Celtic Cross spread, at the center we have the Six of Pentacles. It's in reverse. I'm getting kind of a mixed bag here because it depends on the individual, of course. Sometimes it's like a little more archetypically aligned than others. There is a bit of a split off. So I feel like some of you guys may genuinely be struggling with money and resources. That is absolutely true for some of you. Some of you, it's more about a mindset thing. Of course, those things go hand in hand. If you have a scarcity mindset, that tends to be what you attract. No judgment. That's just how energy works. And so if you're in a scarcity mindset, whether or not you're okay, you just might not see that. And so there may be this feeling of like feeling insecure or unsupported. And so, unless you're in real danger, I mean, regardless of where you're at, whether you're just really tight for cash and you're barely getting by, or you're actually fine in reality and this is just a story you're generating, just make sure that you recognize the story, regardless of your physical material reality. And again, unless you're really in danger, regardless of your physical material reality, it absolutely starts with you. And so if you are generating a story of scarcity, that generally comes from a deeper embedded childhood story of not being enough, not having enough, not being good enough, or not being deserving, not being worthy. And if you have this constant, whether it's conscious or not, this constant story running that you're not deserving or you're not worthy, that's what you're manifesting. Okay, so just be really careful with that. We come by these things honestly, but then if we don't take care of them in adulthood, we can really axe ourselves, you know. So just be really mindful of the story you're generating in terms of finance and resources. If you need to ask for help, ask. That is coming in very strongly. Do not suffer in silence when there are people in your life that want you to be okay and want to help you, okay? And so whether that's like you need a government program, like you need to get on unemployment or something like that, absolutely go through those channels. It's not a shameful thing. It's just, coming out of a Capricorn's mouth, like, use the resources available to you. This is not about shame. This is not about pride. This is about survival and having the resources that you need. And take what you can get, Taurus. Like, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Take what you can get, please. If there's people in your life that can help you, ask for help, please. Okay, what else? If it's not a financial thing, just check the balance of your relationships. Are you giving too much? I think for many of you, it's you're giving too much. Usually giving too much comes out of a fear of abandonment story. So it's kind of tied to this, like, oh, I don't have value unless I'm helping, like, supporting other people, or like, unless I have something to offer other people. And so be mindful of that, because then what ends up happening is you're like spreading yourself thin. And when you do that, like, A, people don't know what's really going on with you, or maybe B, it's not that they don't care, but they're used to taking advantage of that. They don't understand the drain they're putting on you. They're just kind of unconsciously in this relational dynamic with you that may not be the most functional or healthy. So are you giving too much of your energy away to other people? And if so, how can you balance the scales, bring that power back, and be able to utilize your own energy as your own resource? Okay, don't give too much. I feel like you're just giving too much and then not asking for help in return. And so it's kind of creating this imbalance in your life where you're being really, really drained, I think, both energetically and materially. So just be really, really careful with that. That's what you're coming into the month with. Okay, crossing that energy, 5 of Swords. So yeah, check the narratives you're running, check the negative self-talk. If something is preventing you from reaching out for help, ask why. Why do you feel shame about asking for help? Why do you feel guilty about asking for help? Why do you feel like you failed because you have to ask for help? That's really, really key, because sometimes asking for help is really the only thing you need to get unstuck. And usually it's relatively simple if you have the resources or the people or the support once you do ask for help to get back on track. And that's going to be so much easier for everyone, including you and the people involved in your life, to just do that so that you get to a place where you can support yourself in a more easily. And again, this isn't about like what you're capable of, what you're worthy of, what you're deserving of. You know, the nature of interdependence, which is what we are as humans, as pack animals, as, you know, part of the web of life, part of, you know, this global ecosystem, is you can't do this alone. You can't be isolated. You can't be separate. You need to ask for help. And of course, sometimes you're in a position where you have more to give, and you can give things to people that ask you. But sometimes you're on the other side of that fence, and you're the one that needs help, and that is just part of life. Okay. Even the people that you may put on a pedestal or see as like somebody that like always has it together or whatever, that may be partly because they ask for help when they need it, and you don't know who their supports are. You don't know what they're struggling with. You don't know who they're asking for help or what they've had to do in the past. And so just be really mindful of that. Not asking for help is something that I run into with clients all the time, and it is one of the most simple ways to shift your life entirely. Being able to open that channel and feel comfortable asking for help. And even like, you know, just being comfortable with the discomfort of asking is a good start. You know, even if it's not easy to ask at first, being able to practice that muscle and ask even though you're uncomfortable is really good. Some of you, you know, asking for financial help may definitely be on the cards, but also I am getting a pull towards, because there's this sort of imbalance in relationships potentially, or this, you know, the financial issue or resource issue that you may be dealing with may more have to do with an inner sense of lack of self-worth. Part of that asking for help may be like getting, you know, therapeutic resources or healing modality resources or something like that, if you want like a healing of some sort, like a shamanic healing or even a divination to get more information or whatever, you can reach out to me. Of course, I offer tarot readings, but I can also connect you to healers and things like that. If you want to go that route, I'm getting a really specific way in on therapy though, just traditional therapy, because it teaches us how to look at our self-talk and our narratives differently and manage our emotions differently. I mean, the thing about this culture collectively is we're not taught how to have a healthy relationship with our emotions. And so honestly, the way to get there is via therapy, because there really is like no other good way. So just like, it's less about the fact that like you may or may not be struggling, or you may or may not have serious psychological issues, which just stems from trauma, not because there's something wrong with you, or could even be ancestral, which also means that there's nothing wrong with you. You know what I mean? It's just patterns in the culture. Regardless of your level of struggle, it still teaches you the skill of emotional management, which can change everything as well. So I think therapy may be like a good option for some of you that are really, really struggling with this. Because Five of Swords is all about negative self-talk and fighting yourself. And so, if you're trapping yourself in a corner and it's preventing you from getting help because of the own narratives you're spinning about it, that's really something to take a look at and try to shift, okay? We all need help. We are an interdependent species, okay? You can't avoid it. Nobody does it alone. Nobody does anything in a vacuum. I guarantee it. Successful people become successful because they ask for help. Okay. Past affecting your present. I pulled 2 cards. 8 of Wands came out in reverse, and the Queen of Swords. Let's start with the 8 of Wands reversed. This is a standstill. This is a period of feeling like there's no way to move forward, or that you're trapped. Again, I'm getting a pull to the 5 of Swords. While the deep past may reflect a time in which you were really genuinely trapped, I'm getting very deep past, so I'm getting childhood. There maybe have been a feeling of great entrapment in childhood where there really was nowhere for you to go. I think that what is happening is you're carrying that pattern into adulthood via your self-talk. And so there may be this energy of you contributing to your own entrapment because of the narratives you're spinning about your life. And because of the narratives you're spinning, there's certain actions you're not taking that you should be taking, and that which would get you unstuck. And I think these narratives are really preventing you from moving forward. Let's look at the Queen of Swords energy. I am getting a lot of criticism coming out of this card. It came out in the upright, but I am feeling intense criticism. So, particularly from a mother figure, or could be like, it could be male, but I feel very strongly that it's most likely a woman in your family, most likely your mother, that has created this pattern for you in childhood, where you just learn to beat yourself up, to criticize yourself, to destroy your own self-worth, to strip away anything that you feel like you deserve, to make you feel undeserving and worthless, and like something is wrong with you, inherently. Yeah, so what's happening is this feeling of entrapment comes out of this criticism that you experienced from a maternal caretaker growing up. It's contributing now to this 5 of Swords pattern because you're doing it to yourself, and that's what's keeping you stuck, okay? Which makes sense. I mean, like, if you have a pattern of not being able to ask for help, that can often come out of, asking for help when you were a kid, or needing help when you were a kid, and then being treated like you're stupid, or undeserving of help or whatever, which is a really, really gross, disgusting, toxic pattern, because children are by nature dependent. Like, they're supposed to need help. Actually, humans by nature are dependent. We need each other, and so if you've been estranged from that, that can really create a lot of problems in adulthood, which you need to dismantle now. You need to get into a place. I think therapy would really be a good idea, or some sort of healing modality, coaching, divination, shamanic healing, I would highly recommend. But even all the healing resources, you can't integrate if you don't know how to work with your own patterns of self-talk and your own emotional landscape. So some form of therapy modality would be ideal. Because this, you can't take this with you. All these negative ways that you frame your self-concept, you cannot take this with you into a future that you want. This is not going to let you, okay? So just be aware of that. In your foundation, we have the Hangman reversed. Good. I feel like you're ready to move forward in a new direction. It looks like there may still just be some time to, again, just like settle and integrate first before you really take huge steps forward. I don't feel like you're at a standstill anymore. I think that you're just kind of slowly winding up, okay? And so this Hanged Man is kind of saying, okay, you're past the halfway point of like the standstill. Things are going to start moving forward again. And that makes sense because Mercury is coming out of retrograde, so things are starting to wind up again. What I like about this reversal of the Hangman too is it looks like you are just ready for a fresh perspective. Like you don't want to take these narratives with you. You're done with them. You're tired of the ghost of this mother-like figure kind of hanging over your head and trapping you in adulthood. Don't give, whoever this person is, don't give them that power over you, okay? Don't give them that power over you. Take your power back. Take your life back, please. You're here. You're in a body. You're this physical manifestation of this person, of this soul, which means that you deserve to be here. And if you deserve to be here, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have the things that you want. You deserve to feel safe, okay? And so if you can just flip these around and be like, no, I do deserve it. I am worthy of all that I want to experience. That is going to help you. But even if you say that to yourself and you don't address the underlying kind of semi-conscious, gunk underneath it that is telling you the opposite, it's still not going to move. It's just going to make you feel polarized and frustrated, okay? So these need to really change. And the Hangman reverse is saying, this is what's grounding you this month. This is saying, I am ready for a fresh perspective. I am done with these old narratives. I want something else, and I'm willing to make the change. Okay, so this is really positive to me. It tells me that you are willing to do the work to move forward. Okay, so that's great. Crowning you this month, we have the Ace of Cups. It is also reversed. This is about you doing what you need to do for yourself. So it's kind of it's antithetical to the Six of Pentacles, where you're coming into this month giving too much to other people, not asking for enough for yourself. And this Ace of Cups energy, this is crowning you. This is your highest frequency spiritual downloads, what you're thinking about. This is saying, no, this cycle, this phase, this is all about you. This is about what you need. This is about what you want. This is about what's going to nourish you. This is about what's going to make you feel safe and happy, okay? So this is not the time to give to others. This is the time to give to yourself and to ask for the things that you need in order to move forward and to feel so much better. The nice thing about the Ace of Cups is usually when it shows up, it's an opportunity, if you take advantage of the energy, to create a new baseline emotional life for yourself. And so whenever I see the Ace of Cups, I think, oh, you just increased your emotional baseline. So for instance, if your baseline is mild depression, like you wake up feeling mildly depressed, you go to bed feeling mildly depressed, there's spikes and drops during the day because emotion fluctuates, but you kind of have this baseline, right? That's just your baseline way of being, your baseline frequency. Ace of Cups usually means just increase your baseline. So instead of feeling mildly depressed, maybe you just feel mildly happy or kind of like a borderline sense of contentment, and now you wake up feeling borderline content, you go to bed feeling borderline content, and there are spikes and ebbs and flows throughout the day, but it's like this is your core frequency. This is what Ace of Cups is generally doing. It's saying just level up your baseline. You're going to feel so much better from here on out, okay? You can trust that. You can trust that. Usually those things stay. It's a lot harder to regress than people think. You know what I mean? Because when you really shut a door, when you really burn a bridge, when you really end a pattern, when you dig it out from the root and you let it go, usually it can't come back. It just can't, because what got it there in the first place is trauma. So you would have to re-traumatize yourself in the exact same way as an adult to get into the pattern naturally again, and that rarely occurs. Like, the way that we experience trauma as children is much more sensitive than the way we experience it as adults. And so while we operate on those levels of trauma that were seeded in childhood, when we take those out, when we uproot them, things do get better and they stay better, generally speaking, unless something really, really happens. And usually they don't. You know, you know, so, or when they do, you just don't have the same response because you're a different person. So trust that you're, you know, the work that you're doing, even when it feels like a drag, or even when it's like, you know, I don't want to go to therapy, I don't want to ask for help, I should already, you know, but those I shoulds are part of this pattern of you telling yourself that you're not enough, that you're not okay the way you are, when in reality you are, okay? So yeah, Ace of Cups reversed. This is about you. This month, this cycle, this is about you, what you need, what's going to make you feel good, and reaching out for those things and getting them. This is about receiving help. This is not about extending yourself to others, okay? Get yourself squared away first. I know that Taurus is a provider and that they want to give to other people, but you need to get yourself squared away first so that you can be in a position where you can give to other people and it's more effective and you're not drained by it, okay? So that's the goal here. If you want to be a real provider, provide for yourself first and foremost, okay? New circumstance. Two cards, Page of Cups, reverse Nine of Swords. Let's start with the Page of Cups. I'm sensing into a real fear of vulnerability here. Like you're really struggling internally with some things and you're not asking, again, you're not asking for help. This is more about just like not reaching out for support. And so, again, I'm getting a hit on the therapy thing specifically. Like somebody or several people out there know they need it and they're just not doing it. And so if you're that person, you know who you are. That's not going to be true for everyone. And so this is just like, this may be somebody in your life that can support you, whether it's a friend or a family member or something, emotionally support you and just hear what you have to say about everything that you're going through. And this is you fearing that vulnerability, you not wanting to reach out, you not wanting to like bare your soul to somebody that could really be a support to you, or just not willing to accept the help that would be offered. Yeah, maybe there's been a recent turn down, or there will be a turn down of help. And I want to push back on that. Normally I would just say, do you, you know, I don't like to control people's paths. I just like to give them the energy that's available to them. But, and I also don't like to look back if choices have been made, because it doesn't feel supportive generally. But part of being, like, I really feel this need to, like, okay, this is what it is. If you have received an offer of help recently that you have turned down, you need to reverse it. You need to go back and say, you know what? When I said no, that was coming out of a wounded place. That was coming out of a place of self-shame and self-criticism and fear. And to be honest, I really do need help. So can we move forward with this? I hope it's not too late. Please, I do need help, and thank you. Okay, so that would be the way forward. Okay, that's why it came in, because it's easily repairable. If you said no, you can say yes. You can still say yes, there's still time. Okay, yeah, that hits. That feels very true for most of you. Yeah, and then I think some of you, there may just be, yeah, like a love interest that you're not talking to because of fear of vulnerability, or extending an offer, or revealing your true emotions, or whatever. Or maybe there's just a fear that if you do move forward with this person, it's not going to work out. And I want to push back again. You never know unless you know, and this wouldn't be coming up if there wasn't potential. So if you're not reaching out to the person you want to be with, I would reconsider that as well. Okay. And it's paired with the Nine of Swords. Yeah. So this no that you were saying, this offer that you're turning down, or the, you know, the love that you're not extending, or the vulnerability that you're not extending, is a result of this energy, very similar to the Five of Swords, also very similar to the Queen of Swords. This is about anxiety, like intense fear and anxiety and spiraling. The interesting thing about the Nine of Swords is it's all in your head. And so the anxiety spiral, the fear, while it's real for you, you're okay. You're safer, much, like far safer than you realize. That's what this blanket represents. This is like the blanket of spirit. So like this person is, you know, blanketed and cloaked by spirit protection. And he just doesn't recognize it for what it is, because he's trapped in his mind, and his mind is anxious and spinning. Usually you get insomnia with this energy, which is, again, insomnia can be a huge symptom of ascension. And so the only thing I would say there is that when you end up in a place where, you know, you can't sleep and then you're anxious about not sleeping, then it makes it worse. Like, why am I not sleeping? And then you're going down a rabbit hole, right? Instead, you can just say, okay, I'm experiencing insomnia. It's because I'm integrating energy. That's okay. I'm just going to relax. Because when you relax and you accept and you identify what's going on, it's a lot easier to get out of the pattern. You're not spiraling. Kind of what I said it to you guys, I think maybe last month, like, don't shame your shame. Like, that's just shame squared. Like, you don't judge your judgment. It's kind of the, yeah, same thing. Don't get anxiety about your anxiety. And just, you know, do what you can to ground yourself. Remember this new perspective you're gunning for. Remember that this Page of Cups person that is offering you something, they are good and true to themselves and to you, and they are a great opportunity for you. They are not here to hurt you. They already see you. I think there's this fear of vulnerability because it's like, oh, what are they going to do if they know the real me? They can't know the real me because they'll know I'm worthless. They already know you. They already see you. They've already seen into your soul, whoever this person is, and they're still here. Because, you know, I used to have a huge pattern of fear of vulnerability. It was really, really, really bad. And it was the same thing. It was like, oh, if I let someone see me, they're going to see that I'm worthless. They're going to see that I'm undeserving. They're going to see that I'm no good, right? But what I learned, you know, kind of the hard way, and the hard way just because I was so resistant to seeing or understanding, you know, the people that were in my life that did see me, whether I showed them my hand or not, you know, they saw it anyway. What they saw was not my feeling of, they didn't see me as worthless or undeserving. They saw my story of feeling worthless and undeserving. And so that's the heartbreaking thing, certainly for people in my life that really struggle with these things, is like the people that see you, they see the way that you're struggling with those stories, but because you're not actually worthless, because you actually do deserve the world, because you actually are inherently good, they see that too. They see your goodness when you don't. They see your worth when you don't. And so remember that, is that this person, like, you cannot prevent them from seeing you because they already have. And so it would be much more effective for you to say, hey, I'm really struggling with this negative self-talk, with this shame, with not asking for help. I've really got myself in a spiral here, and I need help. That's where you're going to come into the new energy, the change, and where you're going to end up in this Ace of Cups energy where you feel so much better, okay? So if you've already said no, it's not too late. And if you just haven't made a move, make it, okay? And, you know, you can take your time. You know, no rush, but just keep that in your sights. I'm just planting the seed here, is that, like, you can trust this person, you can trust this offer, whatever it is, okay? Okay, your ego this month, your energy, Taurus. Page of Swords reversed. I feel a lot of confusion from you, and that's common when you're in the middle of ascension or integration energy. It's common with a hangman, especially in the reverse, and it's because you're kind of halfway in the old and halfway in the new. You know what you're reaching for. You know that these narratives aren't working for you anymore. You know that the past should not dictate your future, and it becomes this thing where you're like trying to change. You're reaching for the things you'd rather believe in. You're reaching for the worldview, the philosophies that you'd rather believe in. You're reaching for the resources that are going to help you get out of that old energy, but you're still in the old energy too. And so what ends up happening is confusion, because some of the narratives are the self-criticism narratives, right? But some of the narratives are trying to combat them. So, you know, when I'm worthless pops up, then you also have the argument in your mind, no, I'm not worthless. You know, I do have worth, right? And so now, just be careful. Don't polarize yourself, because what can happen is you end up just like struggling with both and trying to compromise or make headway. Again, Five of Swords is about fighting yourself. So it just may be a situation where, like, you know, your thoughts are just battling each other. Your contradictory thoughts are just battling each other for control. Okay. And, so my recommendation would be just get in your body and out of your mind. Because, yeah, again, with the Ascension card here, because this is body-based integration work, that's where you can just be there. You can be there in your body and allow the energy to permeate and just drop the mind. So for those of you that can or can at least try like mindfulness meditation or something like that, where you're just redirecting your mind or just like pouring your energy into your body. I think the best thing to do here is really to just not let your mind run the show this month. Just silence the mind as much as you can, because it just doesn't seem like it's going to be that helpful. And if you end up in a situation where you have these contradictory battling thoughts, you're going to have to hold space for the self-criticizer in you. You're going to have to say, I see you. I see that you're telling me that I feel worthless. I understand that you're trying to protect me from future heartbreak or whatever, but let's try to go in this direction instead. Can you just trust me? And can we just step into this I do have worth, mindset instead? And that's going to be a lot easier for you because you're not polarizing your thoughts. You're just accepting all of it, accepting the contradiction that is being human, right? And that means things aren't true or not true on that level. Things just are, you know what I mean? And they're all just story. And so you may just be having this mindset of like, okay, what is the truth, or what is right from wrong, what is whatever. And just, I want to push back against the duality or the polarity. Things aren't this or that. Things just are. And that gets you in the body too. Things just are. The body just is. The body just exists. The body's just here in this time, in this place, right? And that can help you cut through the confusion. And it's also just, it's okay to be confused right now. That's just what happens when you're halfway in and halfway out, when you're in the middle of integration, when you're at the 50-50 mark, which I'm told you're a little bit beyond the 50, so 60-40 or whatever. It's just part of it. And so being able to sit with that confusion and say, okay, things are changing. I don't quite know who I am anymore, or like who I'm trying to be. I know what I want in my life. I know what I'm trying to free myself from. And like, that's enough. You know what I mean? So just simplify. Don't get into a mind spiral where you're just overthinking and overthinking and overthinking, because that's not going to help. It's not going to help. Just simplify, get into your body and breathe. Okay. Environment this month, 8 of Swords reversed. Whew. Okay. This is good. I think somebody in your life, maybe the Page of Cups person, it may be someone else. I'm getting a 50-50 split on that, actually. Somebody in your life has been through this before. Somebody in your life, this is not their first rodeo. I think I said that last month to you as well. So yeah, reaching out is going to be really key here. There's somebody in your life that knows how to do this, that knows how to cut through these limiting beliefs and patterns, that knows how to step into a new perspective that is better and healthier and happier for you. Somebody knows how to do this work. Could be a therapist that you reach out to. Could be some other type of energy worker or emotional worker. Somebody that does something. Somebody that does what I do, basically. I mean, like, you can always reach out to me. I'm great at this. Not to plug myself in, but I'm great at this. This is kind of my bag. Yeah, somebody in your life has done this before, and so if you reach out to them, again, if you can cut through the fear of reaching out and reach out to them, they can, I think they can just give you the insight that you need to move forward, getting a call to the Hangman, the change of perspective that you need, Page of Cups, just the support you need, and then Ace of Cups, just the information that you need, or the technique you need, or the healing you need, or whatever, just the listening ear that you need to get into the Ace of Cups energy, where you're just going to feel so much better. So there's an emotional release that comes from this person, whoever they are, okay? 8 of Swords is great in reverse, because in the upright, it's all the limiting beliefs, all the ways that you trap yourself and choose not to see. And the interesting thing about this figure is she's tied up and blindfolded and surrounded by swords, and she thinks she's caged, but if she just walks forward, she'd be free. And the 8 of Swords is the freeing of like, oh yeah, I can untie these binds myself because I'm the one that bound them. I can remove the blindfold because I'm the one that put it there. And this Ring of Swords is not even complete. I can just walk straight out, right? And so whoever this person is in your life is like, here is the path. This is how you remove the blindfold. This is how you unbind yourself. This is how you walk forward. So use this resource, because it's going to make all the difference in the world, and they're here for you. You have support, Taurus. Ask for help. Don't overextend. This is about you, okay? Hopes and fears this month. We have the Fool. Okay, so this is the hope and the fear. As you get past this, as you erase these limiting beliefs, as you step into this new person and free yourself, you know, you're going to be on a new path. You're going to be a new person on a new path. And of course, that's the hope. Because, okay, here's what happens is we all want to be free and happy, right? That's what we all want. And we all often, I mean, not all, but many of us choose not to often because we also are afraid of the unknown. And because the ways that we restrict and limit ourselves and trap ourselves is familiar, we stay there, right? And it's biological fear of the unknown, because it's like, okay, well, what's around that tree? What's around that bend? Is there a predator there, right? But, you know, you're human, and the unknown is a magical opportunity to create your life. You know, you're a creator. Humans create. We're artists. And you know, that creative energy walks with the unknown. You have to walk with the unknown in order to carve your path. And so being able to walk with that fear of the unknown, and step off anyway, trusting that wherever you're going and who you're going to be is going to be far better than your current state or your past state, is really key. You can't eliminate fear. You're a human, right? But you can walk with it. You can create a different relationship with it. You can temper it. You can not let it hold you back. I kind of treat my fear like a child. So, you know, if it's like, if I'm going to do something brave and my fear says, no, don't do that, you know, I just say, hey, it's okay. It's going to be okay. You're safe. Okay. And that's how I walk with my fear. So yeah, while the fear is this unknown, that's also the hope, because, you know, I feel like, you know, in my experience, like walking this path and, you know, having so much trauma and trapping myself for so long as an adult based on that trauma, you know, I learned that what really freed me was my desperation was greater than my fear. And so then eventually, you know, once I was exhausted and desperate and so tired that I would do anything other than be where I was, that's when I took action, faced my fear, and stepped into the unknown, because that was more comfortable for me than that feeling of being desperately stuck. And so sometimes I think it is desperation that changes us. It isn't about the fact that, like, because where I am now, I'm you know, more magical than somebody who's still struggling, or because I'm better in any way, shape, or form. It's because I'm a little farther along the path. And the reason why is because I hit my point of sheer utter desperation a little earlier. That's all. I got bored, I got desperate, and I was willing to do anything to get me out. And so you may just have to ask yourself, you know, is walking with the fear towards a new dawn worth it? Does it outweigh the desperation? Does the fear feel better than the desperation and the stuckness? Because it's really, it's necessity that creates change often. It's not about what you're capable of or not capable of. Everyone comes into this world with unique gifts. Everyone's capable. And change happens when we need it to, when we really need it to, and we're willing to walk with our fear and answer that call. And so the beautiful thing about choosing to face your fear, to walk off that cliff, to step into an unknown where you don't know who you are and you don't know what the landscape is, it's new life, it's new breath, and it is better. It is way better than being stuck. And that's an understatement, but there's just no words that can describe the path once you choose to walk it. And so, I mean, this is a catalyst month. This is a critical point. This Fool card is saying you have the choice here to wipe the slate clean, to have the entire world in front of you, and to go wherever you want. Are you going to take it? In spite of your fear, are you going to take it? Okay. Outcome this month, Judgment. Reversed. This is about freeing yourself. And, you know, in the reversal, there's a couple of things I'm getting. One is that it's going to be an inside job, this portion of it. So while nothing may change immediately in your external circumstance, you are changing. you're opening yourself up to internal change, and eventually that's going to affect your physical material world, because the world around you is just a mirror for what's within, okay? And so this is the start of that work. This is the internal self-liberation process of freeing yourself from the entrapment. See, what we have here is these people, they're in coffins, and the judgment card is basically like the angel coming down and releasing them from the coffins and up to the heavens, okay? And I don't want to get biblical, because, you know, you can look at judgment like a really harsh way, and that is not what this is at all. Judgment is just, it's time to ascend. It's time to ascend, and everybody gets to ascend. Nobody gets left behind. There's no sinners. There's no bad people. Everyone gets to ascend. Everyone gets to be released from their suffering, okay? And so here in the reverse, all I'm getting is it's just an inside job. It's you releasing yourself, from the ties that you've used to bind yourself. This is self-release. And I was sensing into something else as well, and I'm kind of losing the thread. Let me see if I can get it back. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a quality here, like a sobering quality, which may not be the easiest to swallow, but I've already said it a lot throughout this reading, and if it's triggered you, it already has, so why not mention it? There comes a time when you're doing this work for real, when you're really trying to heal and evolve and grow, regardless of what you believe in. I don't care what you believe in. I want you to release yourself, you know, first and foremost. There comes a time where, as an adult, you have to recognize that the trauma you experienced as a child was not your fault, but everything that you have done in adulthood to perpetuate the trauma you experienced and continue to abuse yourself is your responsibility. I don't want to say fault, because blame, shame, or judgment does not help anything, but it is your responsibility and in your control to choose to perpetuate your own self-oppression or not. And so sometimes this can come with some grief. This is what also holds people back from pursuing healing and growth and evolution and freedom as well, is you know, the unconscious knowledge that you have to face the fact, when you choose to do this work, that you did this to yourself as an adult. The things that you've experienced as an adult, you did it to yourself. When you're a child and you're dependent on other people for care, that is not your fault. When you're an adult and you're continuing those same patterns of abuse on yourself, that is your responsibility. And so what happens is a breach of contract with self, a breach of contract with your own heart that you have to recognize and apologize for, and it hurts. It hurts to feel what you have done to yourself. And getting to that point where you say, wow, I've really hurt myself, and you apologize, and you make a new contract with yourself to move forward and to heal, everything changes and you get everything you want. Within reason. I mean, you know, that doesn't hurt anyone, and not right away, but you feel better. Opportunities come in. You feel lighter. You free yourself. You have better relationships. Things just suddenly start working. And that's because you have decided to stop perpetuating your own abuse. You have apologized to yourself, and you have done the work required to rebind the contract with your own heart. It actually takes a while for the heart to start trusting you again. And once your heart does start trusting you, completely different landscape opens up. But you have to earn your heart's trust after you break in your own heart. And I think for many of you, you're reaching that point right at the end of the month where you go, wow, I hurt myself, and I have to take ownership of that. And yes, that hurts. And yes, everything after that is beautiful. And that's judgment. I mean, that's real. Like when people think Judgment Day, like in a very problematic biblical sense, they think, you know, some entity outside of yourself is deciding who's good and who's bad, who's going to heaven and who's going to hell. And that's not true. The reality is, judgment is standing in front of your own highest self. It's standing in front of your own radiance, your own heart, your own authority, and realizing in that moment that you have to fess up to your crimes, and your crimes are every way that you have hurt yourself, every way that you have held yourself back, every way that you've abused yourself. That's the real judgment. So it's like, yes, truth is coming to light. Truth is coming to light, and it hurts, but it's you to you, and that's it. And then after that, everything else happens after that. All the things that you've wanted for so long. Because again, we all want to be happy. We all want to be free. And to get there, you do have to air those truths. And that is the acceptance and the ownership of, I've hurt myself in these ways. And so what can I do to repair the damage so that I can have myself back? Okay. So that's it. That's the path. That is this is a momentous month for you, Taurus. I look forward to seeing how this unfolds for you. Please leave a comment. Let me know what's going on for you if you would like to. I'd like to know. Schedule something with me if you would like to discuss your path forward. We can really get into this. We can air things. We can resolve. We can reconcile. We can come up with a plan for you. Okay. And I would love to meet you. So please do that. You can do so in the box below. Hit like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see the next Taurus video. I know I threw a lot at you. But I love you. You're going to be okay. Do your work this month, and then the rest is, like, you know, I mean, not bliss. We're all humans, but the rest is radical acceptance of who you are, the life you want to live, and the steps to get there. Okay? So good luck, and I will see you guys in April.